Hi, I'm Amy and this is House of Nash Eats, and today we're making fresh green bean casserole. This is one of the classic Thanksgiving side dishes. It's crunchy, savory, it's got the tender, fresh green beans in it. This is one that your grandma probably made a little bit different. I'm making it from scratch with a from scratch sauce, no cans of cream of anything soup, and fresh green beans for the best flavor. It's so good. Let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to prep our vegetables. We're going to chop an onion. We're going to mince a couple of cloves of garlic. We're going to prep our green beans and blanch them, which just means we're cooking them really fast and then shocking them in some cold water so they don't cook all the way. They'll finish cooking when we bake the whole casserole at the end. Okay, so let's chop our onion. So to chop an onion, I always cut off one end with a sharp chef's knife, and then I've got a flat base to work with. We're going to slice right down the center, flip it over, and I like to get the peel off, the outer skin, the dry papery stuff. We're going to set all of that over to the side. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to slice into the onion kind of at an angle, and we're going to slice all the way around, doing just kind of a medium dice. And then one slice halfway through. We're going to repeat that on this one. The important thing when cooking with onions and chopping onions is you want them to be all about the same size so that they cook evenly and you don't have smaller pieces that are burning. Okay, and now we chop it up. By leaving one end of the onion intact, it makes it so it doesn't fall apart, and it's really easy to chop this way. There we go. And I'm going to transfer this to a bowl. This is one medium onion. It's a little more than a cup of chopped onion. Okay, now I'm going to clean this off. Be right back. And now it's time to chop our garlic. So we're going to mince these 2 cloves of garlic. First, I'm just going to smash them flat so it's easy to take off the papery skin. And then I'm just going to give them a quick mince. Okay, and we're good to go with that. So now we're going to prep the green beans. So you just want to sort through your green beans and look for any that have the ends still on them that you might need to snap off. I don't have too many in the bag that I got from the store, but every now and then you find one. We're just going to snap that end off, that piece. And then I like to break them in half just so they're a little bit easier and more bite-sized when you're scooping out the casserole. So you can chop them or break them. Okay, this is going to take a long time, so I'm just going to chop them in half. So you just line them up and do a chop right down the middle. And you can get most of them. Okay, and then we're going to put them back into our colander, give them a quick rinse, and then we'll put them in some boiling water to blanch them. Okay, now that we have our beans rinsed and ready to go, we're going to blanch them by cooking them in some salted boiling water for about 5 minutes. Just a quick cook, and then we're going to quickly put them into an ice water bath to stop the cooking process. So for a large pot of water like this, I'm going to add about 1.5 tablespoons, so a good amount of salt. And this is building layers of flavor in your beans so that your casserole is perfectly seasoned all the way through. Okay, and once this is coming to a good boil, we're going to add our beans. Okay, and then we set a timer for 5 minutes. Okay, so these beans have been cooking in boiling water for about 5 minutes, and now we're going to drain them and then put them right into an ice water bath. Okay, so these are drained and they're going right into some ice water. So they're a beautiful bright green color, and the cold water is just going to stop them from cooking any further so we don't have mushy green beans in our casserole. Okay, and we'll set these over to the side while we work on the rest of the recipe. Okay, so now we're going to make the creamy sauce that makes this extra wonderful instead of using cans of cream of something soup. Now, when we're making this sauce, you totally have the option to add mushrooms, and I'll tell you when to do that. I personally like to leave them out for my green bean casserole, but it's totally up to you. Let me know in the comments below if you like mushrooms in green bean casserole or not. Okay, we're going to start by adding a little bit of salted butter and letting that melt. So this is a great recipe really all year long. We make it in the summertime when green beans are fresh and plentiful and growing in our garden, but we also make it every Thanksgiving. It's one of those classic comfort food dishes that you see on so many American tables at Thanksgiving time. So once that butter is melted, we're going to add our onions that we chopped. And you can go ahead and add the garlic. And then we're just going to saute that until the onions soften, which takes about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. So one of the advantages of making your sauce from scratch is that you know everything that's going into it, and you can control the flavor to get it just the way you like it. So the salt is balanced perfectly, and it tastes nice and fresh with these real ingredients instead of coming out of a can, which is why we like this so much. Okay, once these onions are looking nice and soft, they start to get a little translucent. We're going to add the flour and sprinkle it over the top and cook that in to take away the cooked flour taste, and that's also going to help thicken our sauce once we add the liquid ingredients. So we use about 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and I'm also going to add our salt and pepper at this point. And just stir that in and cook it for about a minute or two so that the raw taste of the flour can cook out. And it will absorb into the butter and help create a wonderful, silky sauce. Okay, I'm going to switch to my whisk for this part. So now I'm going to add 1 cup of chicken broth, and we're going to whisk it in a little at a time. And by whisking in that broth to the floured onions, it makes it so there are no lumps in my sauce. And once this starts to thicken a little bit, we'll add the half and half, which is the last ingredient in making this super easy sauce that takes just a few minutes to prepare. Okay, so there are no lumps, and so now I'm going to whisk in the half and half. You could use whole milk here. Half and half just makes it a little bit richer and a little bit creamier, so I like to use it if I have it on hand. Okay, so now we're just going to let our sauce come up to a simmer, and once it's simmering, you might need to reduce the heat a little bit, but let it cook for about 5 to 6 minutes until it's thickened nicely into a creamy sauce, and then we'll add it to our blanched green beans and finish up the casserole in the oven. Now, if you wanted to add some minced chopped mushrooms to your sauce, you could use any type of mushroom that you like. I would add it right as the onions finish sauteing. Add the mushrooms in and let them cook for 2 to 3 minutes just to get some of their liquid out. Mushrooms have a whole lot of liquid in them. And once you've done that, then start adding your chicken broth and your half and half to the sauce. And the sauce is starting to bubble, and we're gonna let it just simmer for 5 to 6 minutes until it's thick and creamy and silky smooth. I'm sure you could use other dairy-free alternatives to make this casserole if you have allergies or food restrictions for anybody who's coming to Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, so now that our sauce is done and our green beans have been blanched, we're going to put the green beans back into our pot. And we'll pour the sauce over the top of the green beans and mix it all together. And I wish you could smell this. Those onions, that little bit of garlic, and these fresh green beans make a huge difference in this comfort food classic. Okay, once that's all stirred together, we're gonna put it in a 9x13 casserole dish. This is a great item to make ahead. If you're planning Thanksgiving dinner and you're doing the majority of the cooking, make this a day or two in advance. It will keep in the fridge. Just wait to add the crispy onions until right before you bake it. But you can do it right up to this point and then cover it with plastic wrap and stick it in the fridge, and you don't have to worry about it on Thanksgiving Day. So now that we've got our green beans and our sauce, we're just going to sprinkle half a cup of panko breadcrumbs for a little extra crunch. And then French fried onion strings. Now you can make these from scratch. I have a recipe on my site and I'll link to it below. It's just one of those time savers that I do to just buy these at the store and use them for my green bean casserole. Plus they're kind of traditional and it's really fun to use them and they're so good. So we'll sprinkle these over the top. It's just 1 6-ounce container's worth, or about 2.5 cups. Okay, and let's put it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, let's get it out of the oven. Okay, it is done and it looks so good. This is going to need to cool down for 15-20 minutes before you serve it because it's super hot, but it smells so good. Those crispy onions on top are nice and brown. If they're getting too brown, check it in the last 10 minutes and put a piece of tin foil on top just to make it not brown too much. You don't want those to burn, but it looks delicious and it's going to be great on our Thanksgiving table alongside our turkey and mashed potatoes. Okay, let's dish this up and have a taste. I'm gonna go right here. Okay, and it's super hot, but I love all these crispy onions on top and the creamy green bean casserole underneath. It's so good. I'm gonna take a taste. This is so good. The green beans are perfectly like al dente. They're not mushy, they're just tender and wonderful, and the crunchy onions on top are perfectly delicious. They add a textural element. It's savory, it's a little salty, it's creamy, it's fresh. This is the best fresh green bean casserole. You're going to love it, and so will everybody who's at your Thanksgiving dinner. Be sure, if you like this video, to like and subscribe, and let me know what your favorite Thanksgiving side dish is in the comments below. See you soon.